Hey guys, welcome back to Broken Journey, the podcast. I am your host, Elba Rivera. And backed by popular demand, we have Emily from my previous episode on cannabis. So, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy Cannabis Part 2. Adios. Hi, Emily. Welcome back. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Alba. I'm so glad to be back.
It's good to hear you. Um, so I got some feedback from some of my listeners and they wanted to hear some more information. So I know that we spoke about, you coming back on and you were going to talk about strains. So if you want to go into it, you can start whenever you're ready.
Awesome, yes. So I wanted to get a little more into detail, just kind of about strains and like how they work for your body, because we kind of tiptoed into the water last time we discussed it on the podcast, and
Yeah.
we really just kind of dipped our toes into the water in how cannabis works for your body, but we didn't get into the strains specifically and like what they do. I know we kind
Yeah.
of led into the fact that they're like acetaminophen and ibuprofen. You can break down your strains to do exactly what your medication would do. So that's kind of where we were going with that today.
Cool.
Do you, off the top of your head, have anything that you can think of ailment wise that you want to treat that happens frequently, but you don't like taking medication for it, like migraines or sore muscles or anything? Like, what specifically is one of your ailments that you have trouble with?
So I would say I have problems with my lower back. So let's start with that, and then we can go on to a few of the other ailments that are out there. I'm just grateful that I'm diabetic and I have back pain, and everything else is fully healthy. So I know
Yes,
that.
yes,
I know, yeah, and I know that there's a lot of people who suffer from migraines, and some are so bad that it's debilitating. So we'll
yeah.
start with the back pain one, and then you can go on from there.
Absolutely. So for back pain, that's actually a really great place to start because you have a lot of different options of things you could use for that. Where you could have, like we talked about last week, where you could have your topical. You have your non psychoactive for people that are afraid of just feeling overwhelmed or feeling high or feeling psychosis or any of that kind of stuff. Anybody that's nervous to feel that, you have topicals as an option. That
Awesome.
way, not it's not mind altering. It's not making you feel funny. It doesn't, do anything but provide pain relief for you in a natural way. So
Okay.
you have topicals, somebody who is uncomfortable with trying cannabis or marijuana. But if you have somebody who, let's say, is a smoker and says, I've smoked for a couple years, but I just pick up whatever's available. I don't have anything specific that I go for, and I smoke what I smoke. Well,
Okay.
I get that, but a lot of the times what you're getting off the street is going to be like an indica or something that somebody grew. That is what a lot of the times people refer to as dirt weed or ragweed and things like that, which is not grown very well. It doesn't have a lot of nutrients. It basically just
Okay.
isn't that's going to provide a lot of medical nutrients to you, essentially. Um,
Okay.
so
So
that's
it
why
has more like it. I'm sorry. It has more like um more chemical, you would say, versus more of the medicine
I would
kind of.
say it has less natural DNA than with the
Got it.
plant nutrients grown with somebody that's responsible, that knows what they're doing, that's growing it for medication, as opposed to somebody that's just growing it for fun.
Got it.
Um, because like people that just grow it for fun in their home and stuff like that, homegrown stuff. I mean, if you have a love and a passion for growing plants, yeah, of course your product is going to turn out better than others. But if you're somebody that's just trying to make some money on the side and you're just trying to grow some stuff really quickly, a lot of times the nutrients and the love and things like that are not put into it, so it's not a medicinal type.
Got
Uh,
it.
there are different types, and a lot of the things that we grow for like dispensaries and things like that, they're all what we call horizontally grown. It means it's grown by our companies within our state, and it's FDA approved. It has to go through checks. It goes through the DOH, which is the Department of Health. Like they all come in, and so we are state qualified. Like they go through and they look at
Awesome.
everything we do. Whereas if you
Awesome.
have vertically grown, like Colorado and everything else, they can grow their own. They can have outsourced growers. They can grow from anybody. They can pick up products and grow from anybody or sell from anybody. It doesn't have
Oh,
to be just one place that's growing certain products. So
that's
there's a difference
interesting.
in states being medical and being recreational. So that's why there's a lot of like that play going back and forth. But basically, let's go back to the back pain.
Right.
You would want to use either a hybrid or an indica dominant hybrid, or an indica based on what time of day it is, when, you know, what you're wanting to feel. A lot of this is basically just based off of how you as a person want to feel, what type of relief you're looking for, which is why we as patient consultants often like to tell everybody, you're the one who makes your own medication. You're the one that's fixing your body. I don't know how you feel. I don't know what type of pain or things that
Levels.
know you experience throughout the day. I don't know what your discomfort level is. So your medication is up to you. I just go based off of basically what you tell me. So that's why there's so many different strains and options. But what I like to use personally is I like
Right.
to use stuff that is either concentrates on just body pain specifically, like Purple Wookie, for example. Purple Wookie is something that it doesn't provide any head euphoria. It just gives you a nice kind of numbing, tingly body feel. It
Okay.
has a little bit of like purple color to it, which is, you know, they like to say anything with like indicas is typically purple, because purple is an indication of like sleepiness, of myrcene, linalool. Purple in like the old terms is basically representative of like sleepy indica weeds. So that
Got it.
they're different strains, it's different types of seeds, different growing types. So, like all the names you hear are actually references to types of strains they are. It's not just like code names or, you know, nicknames or something. It's actually referencing the strains and things like that.
Oh,
So
that's good to know.
that's why I was like, a lot of the information, a lot of things that I thought I knew was just people making up names. A lot of it is actually the reference to the strain, the grower, who named it, you know, things like that. So they're all actually pretty relevant um, to cannabis.
Right, right. That's good to know.
Yeah, but something like Purple Wookie would be great to use for back pain, but not disorienting. But if you want like a full experience like me, I like to have a little bit of head euphoria with my relaxation because I have ADHD, so I need to calm down my thoughts sometimes when I'm in pain because my receptors are all just going crazy, and I know that sometimes it's overwhelming and it creates more pain and more stress and more knots. So at that point, I want to shut down from the head to toe. So it
Right.
basically is just a reference for you to start. And it's up to yourself or the consultant to understand what products they're offering for those type of ailments.
Okay.
But you can have variants of different degrees you can go in, and that's what we like to preach to people: is that you don't just have one that's going to knock you out and one that's going to make you run and jump off the walls. There's so many in betweens. There's so many balances. You could feel any way you want all day long.
Got it. And so it's kind of like making a cake, right? Where you put the ingredients of what, let's say, is a chocolate cake, then you need to make sure that you put cocoa powder in there because if not, it's going to be a vanilla cake,
Yeah,
basically, right?
yeah. It's all.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's a great reference, actually. So essentially, it's like a cake. It all has the same basic ingredients, right? But it's up to
Right,
you to make the flavoring. It's up to you to pick the frosting. It's up to you to pick the decorations, the designs, right? So essentially,
right,
it's the same thing with cannabis. Your cannabis has your THC. It has your cannabinoids in there, but it's up to you to pick what it's going to do from you. It's up to you to pick your terpenes, your terpene
right.
profile based on how you feel, which goes back into your sativa, your indica, your hybrid.
Okay,
So that being said, the terpenes are kind of where guiding you in your smell, your taste, your entourage effect, we like to call it. because
Okay.
you're not just getting the body tingle, you're getting, the aroma of berries, or you're getting that taste of chocolate with a little bit of grass or diesel, and that's why I was like sour diesel. It's relevant to the name because it has a diesel taste when you smoke it. So that's why I was
Okay.
like, all of these names and strains, they're all relevant to each other, to how they grow, like I said before. But
Okay.
there's different varying degrees you could go with for back pain, that I would say you would want to go into your indicas and your indica leaning hybrids, because those are going to be the ones that are going to focus on back pain or body pain and not be as euphoric for the head. But you're not going to be moving around as much because it's going to be higher in myrcene, and it's going
Okay.
to be higher in linalool, which are going to be the ones that are going to be anti-inflammatories, and the ones that are going to be your analgesics.
Okay. And so what does that do? It kind of like numbs your body, or it kind of
Yes.
like.
So those are
Okay.
going to be your sedatives. It's your pain reliever. So that's going to
Okay.
be your ibuprofen. So indicas are going to be your acetaminophen. So it's going to be your Tylenol.
Um,
It's going to be your pain reliever. So it's not necessarily an anti-inflammatory.
right.
They are higher in anti-inflammatories because they're sedatives, but they're not necessarily sedatives. Like I said, myrcene is a sedative effect, so it makes you sleepy. It makes you heavy.
Okay.
And linalool is a calming effect, so it makes you tired, it makes you relaxed. It's what's in like what is it? Lavender. Lavender is linalool.
Right.
That
Okay.
smell, your lavender smell is linalool. So you're going to
Oh, okay.
smell that lavender smell. You're going to get automatically relaxed. And so that one's going to be one that's going to be a more euphoric one. Linalool is more euphoric, whereas myrcene is going to be more heavy bodied. So that's why it's important to kind of understand what the terpenes do for your body, so that way you can base it and figure out what exactly you need more of. Me personally,
Got
I
it.
don't have a lot of body pain per se. I have inflammation, but I don't necessarily have pain. So when I go to sleep, I need something that's higher in linalool because I need to relax my thought process more than
Okay.
be heavy and sedated. So I don't need something more heavy bodied necessarily, but I need something more geared towards my thought process and shutting down my brain.
Right. Because sometimes
Why I
your
said
brain
it's
can
all
just go 100 miles an
exactly.
hour, right?
Absolutely. So that's why I said it really is up to the person to tailor it to what they're looking for in that moment. And I'm just kind of here for questions and to help people to, to not feel so nervous about asking, hey, what does this do? What is this going to make me feel? Because chances are
Okay.
I'll be able, if I don't know it, I can look it up and tell you. And that way it gives
Right.
you that comfort of knowing this is exactly how I'm going to feel when I go home. Because what's the one thing that you don't want to do something you don't know how it's going to make you feel, right? It's going to make you feel
Exactly.
more hesitant, more awkward. But if you go into a place and they tell you this is exactly what you're going to feel when you use this, blah 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 blah, that's going to be more comforting to know, right? Because you know what to
Of
expect at that.
course.
And if for
Yes.
some reason not everybody's body is the same, of course. Now, if you were to have a
Right.
reaction, a lot of people and places have programs where you can exchange your medication and try, and give it back, try different things out, because we don't want you stuck with something that's going to, give you panic attacks, or something that's going to make you feel overwhelmed, or something that just doesn't
Exactly.
work for you. Because it's just like everybody's body out in nature. Sometimes you're allergic to like penicillin and stuff. Like you can't have these things. Sometimes these certain terpenes don't work for certain people. It happens.
Exactly.
So that's why we tailor it and we modify it to each person's body type. And we try to say, hey, try this one. This one's good for this. So we're gearing
Right.
more towards getting away from sativa hybrid indica and getting to more towards where's your pain? What are you looking for? These are the terpenes you should be getting.
Right. I remember one time, and when you started talking about, getting what's exactly right for you, I remember getting a medication for my back pain. And the next day, I thought I was going to die. I was driving to work and I had a plastic bag because I was in the middle of, and I'm glad I always keep like little plastic bags in my car because I was right in the middle lane, and we have three lanes here on the main road here. We have three
Yeah.
lanes, and I was in the middle one,
Oh
and
no.
I had to have the bag. I was in my face throwing up while I was
Oh
stuck
my.
in traffic.
Poor thing. Ah,
Yes. And I was like, I called my doctor and I said, I will never take this again. And by the time I got to work, my face was pale white. And
oh,
they were like, are you okay? And I was like, not really, but I guess I survived
yeah.
the morning rush hour
Right?
traffic, you
A lot
know?
of the it's more damage than good because what they're giving you is something to dull or numb what you're feeling. So
Hmm.
it's not curing or getting rid of what's going on within your body. It's just blocking out and numbing that pain.
Right,
So what marijuana does, as opposed to blocking out and numbing that pain and giving you further damage and issues to deal with later on down the road, it starts by working with your, like we said, your endocannabinoid system, and it goes and figure out what needs fixing, and it goes to work on those areas in your body. And that's the crazy
right,
part, is that this stuff not only gives you that numbing and beautiful pain relief you're looking for from whatever medications the doctors are giving you, but it's going to work on your cells and your body, and it's actually healing you in the process.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, and this is all natural. Like, we don't chemically modify any of this stuff. And that's the beauty
Right,
of it. This is all homeopathic. And so, anybody that
right,
doesn't want to get into the prescriptions and things like that, this is a beautiful way to get out of all of those and to get off addiction,
right,
get off of all these
right,
awful Ambiens and sleeping pills that don't work for people. And you could literally use this as much as you want all day long, and it's not going to do
right.
anything for you. Like, I'm scared to take my Tums more than 7 times a day because I'm told
I
I'm not
know,
supposed to. And the
I
crazy,
know.
and it sounds silly. It does sound silly, but for me, I have my Crohn's is horrible. So my Crohn's
Right,
disease, I get a lot of acidic flare-ups, so horrible after I eat. So I'm eating 2 and 3,000 milligrams, 4,000 milligrams of Tums at a time.
oh
So when I'm
wow,
doing that 3 times a day, I'm ingesting too much. So they're
right,
like, you can't have that much, you can't have that much. I said, well, you can't give me more medication and you can't do this for me. What's going to give my stomach relief from this? And honestly,
right,
smoking our flower specifically is what actually works for calming my gut. And I think it's because it's what we call full spectrum. It's got that plant matter, it's got the fats, it's got the lipids, it's the whole entire plant. So you're getting all the goodies together and it's not clean. So you're getting everything put together and it's giving you those healing properties that you're missing
that you're
from
needing,
prescription
yes.
you're needing. So, because that's the thing, is that these prescription drugs don't do anything for you. It just dies down the acid. But I
Right,
actually get relief from smoking cannabis. It calms my gut. Like, my gut will be in a knot, but then instantly
right,
when I'm smoking, it's relieved and it's let go. And it's
right.
within 10, 15 minutes most of the time.
And it's funny that you say, about the medication because for me, it takes, I would have to be like with my back pain, I would have to be from a 1 to 10, I would have to be at a 20 for me to
Oh,
take
God.
something because I don't like, first of all, I don't like taking medication, period.
Yep,
Now, I'm
exactly.
diabetic. I think we spoke about that before. I'm
Yep.
diabetic and I have to take medication, right?
So you try to stay
However,
in.
yeah, to maintain it. So, um, for me, I feel like if I have to take anything else, again, I'm grateful that I am pretty healthy. Um, but just taking medication for me is, I have a hard time with it. First of all, because I have addiction in, my family, right? And you know that when you have addictions in your family, that stems down to just, more than just, drinking and marijuana, whatever. It's other
Avenues.
sorry. I got caught up. There's other drugs that they were
Yeah.
very addicted to. And so, you start to look at, the Vicodin and the oxycodone and all that stuff. And I'm like, "Well, I don't want to take that. I don't want to be tied down to that because of pain." So I always look for something
Yeah.
that's more of a natural step. And I will try. Let me tell you something. For my diabetes, I have a tea that I make. in order for me to keep my levels down and to
Yep.
make sure that, I'm taking care of my body. Now, sometimes I'm not going to lie to you. I like to eat. So,
Oh,
but
girl, we all like to eat. Hello.
yeah, I eat, and then I like the sweets and stuff like that. And so
Yes.
it's kind of
Yes.
hard.
Preach, girl. Preach. Preach.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
understand. Yes.
hard. Yeah, so but like you said, if there's something more holistic, then it's
Well,
better
Ella,
than
like you said, your drinks in the morning, you like to have your snacks and things like that. Like I said, we have this powder form. If you added that powder form of THC to your drinks in the morning within the day, you're not allowing your body to get to that hurt point. You're not allowing it to get to
right,
that point of, man, I'm out of 20. I really need to take something right now. You don't get to
right.
that point if you just microdose yourself in the morning or a little here or there. So it doesn't even have to be overwhelming to start introducing it to your body. And honestly, it'll help with your diabetes as well.
That's
I was
awesome
just saying
news.
it's known to help with blood pressure, diabetes, tumors, cancer. I'm telling you, everything under the sun. It'll help you lose weight. It's proven
Wow.
TCV. So one cannabinoid specifically, THCV, is actually proven to be an appetite suppressant. I've had people come in and tell me they lost 20 pounds smoking weed, and you'd
Wow.
think it was unbelievable because your stereotype says, "Oh,
Right.
you smoke weed, you get hungry." That's not true. Not every weed makes you hungry. It's a lot of stuff actually, believe it or not, that's higher in the myrcene and the caryophyllene. The
Right.
myrcene and the caryophyllene, the heavier anti-inflammatories and your sedatives, are the ones that are going to give you more appetite because those are the terpene profiles that actually make you want to eat. They make you sleepy. They make you relaxed.
Got it.
So, yeah, so
That's
any of
that's
those types of
interesting.
things that are going to make you hungry,
Right.
not always, mind you, because like I said, it has to do with the terpenes. It has to do with CBG, a cannabinoid CBG. Those
Right.
ones are the ones that have to do with appetite. So THCV, if you don't want to eat, that's a suppressant. And if you look for the terpene humulene, which is actually in hops, in barley, in all that stuff, in wheat and things like that, the humulene is an appetite suppressant as well. So it's kind of funny how if you're drinking, it makes you hungry because it's supposed to suppress your appetite.
Right. Right.
So it's proven like hops and everything like humulene that actually it suppresses it. And actually proof of that happening
Interesting.
because we use this particular strain in our store and we look up our terpene profiles once they're made and sent out to the store for sale. We like to look it up by the terpene profile so we know how we're going to feel when we buy those strains.
Okay.
And because it's in a concentrate, so in the concentrate form, you can actually go and look up the lab reports and see exactly what type of terpenes are in there, how much THC is in there.
That's
So you can
awesome.
literally, yeah, you can go and tailor it to your needs. So, like I said, I was looking up these terpene profiles, and it used to be what I would look for is higher in caryophyllene because caryophyllene typically will give you an appetite. For me specifically, it stimulated my appetite. With my Crohn's disease, I have trouble eating, so I like to look for things that are higher in that. Well, this
Okay.
time around, when I bought it, it turned out it was higher in humulene. So I specifically was not getting hungry. I was not eating. And I was like, this is weird. This is not my typical effects I get from this strain specifically, which is what led me to look it up. And I was like, no wonder I'm not hungry. It's humulene. So I was like, I'm trying to eat my lunch and I'm like, I have no appetite. What the heck is going on? So
Right.
it can vary. It can change based on how they're grown. Because, like I said, it's natural. It's homegrown. These things grow from the ground. You can't control how your mangoes or apples are growing. You can't control how cannabis grows either. All you can do is
Okay.
monitor and check it, which is why we
Right.
do the batches, why we do send it off to get third party testing so we can make sure everything is how it should be. So, with
I
that being
got it.
said, we're fully transparent, which is a really
Nice.
good thing because you obviously are not going to want to buy some moldy cannabis from anybody that can get you really sick. So,
Right.
with
Right.
that being
Right.
exactly, you can go and you can kind of tailor it to your needs. So if you want something to help you not eat, look for stuff that's higher in humulene or look for that THCV. A lot of the times you can get exactly what you're looking for. Start it off in your and tailor it to exactly what you need. You're going to find you're eating less snacks, you're not as hungry, you're still being productive, you're getting things done throughout your day, but you're not feeling as much pain. It's not always
Right.
about indulging and feeling really relaxed and feeling great. It's not always about that. The mundane day to day getting through. pain and getting through the struggle, getting through the stress and the frustrations of everything that goes
Right.
on. It's not always got to be an immediate call, or there's a pain or there's a this, there's a that. It doesn't always have to be that. Sometimes you can just microdose for your own mental health.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And so many things, people go through so many different things in life that sometimes, you just need to relax. So,
Exactly.
that's good. So
We
now
need to
with
normalize it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And, besides going to therapy and kind of helping yourself out that way as well,
Yeah,
but
of course.
now when it comes to other ailments like, um, girl, like going through like migraine, right?
Yes,
How does,
I
how
struggled.
does that, yep,
So the migraines is actually, I recommend sativas for those because a sativa, they're specifically, not all of them, like I said, because they do different things. So you want to gear it towards what type of migraines you have because there's so many different type of migraines too. Some
right.
people have frontal lobe migraines. Like me, I get a lot of pressure in my eyes and in my face. I get a lot of octal migraines.
Okay.
So with mine, I like to smoke green crack. Green crack is one of my favorite strains because it's a, I want to say it's a 60-40 sativa dominant. So it's one of those hybrids that we like to talk about. So it gives you a nice little body relief, but it's only minor, like tingle, but it gives you relief in your eyes. If you get a lot of eye pressure, if you have glaucoma, anything like that, if you have your ocular migraines, you're going to want to go towards something that's in specifically your eyes or your face. Uh, so green crack is right behind the eyes. So for me, that relieves all the pressure in my temple, back of my head. There's
Okay.
also a straight headband, which is another great option for that, meant specifically for migraines, because sometimes you feel like your head's in a vice grip and it's squeezing it. Well, it's going to release
Yes.
that. So I was going to say you can go on to basically any websites. You can go on to Google and just Google, hey, what kind of cannabis strain is great for migraines, and it'll pop up websites that'll like be Leafly or All Bud or any of these little websites will, you can type in migraine or what your ailment is and it'll tell you strains that'll help you with that. Now, granted, the hard part is finding available strains near you, but it's still an
Right.
look and to get that knowledge. Oh, well, we don't have this one, but we have something that's similar to this one. It's this thing. Maybe try this one out, and that'll be, an option for you. So a lot of the times we may not have those specific strains that are online, but we have something that's very similar to that that's going to do the same thing.
Got it. Got it.
So
And
it's like an off-brand, like finding off-brand medication. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's going to do the same stuff for you.
okay. And so, what other like areas of ailments do you see people coming in, to get relief for?
I've had people come in for degenerating discs in their back, which I can't even explain how miserable it is. I've had people come in with crippling anxiety that can't even talk to the host, but when they smoke, they're a social butterfly.
Okay.
We have people that come in with all sorts of different ailments. So honestly, that's why I said it's really up to the consultant and up to you to kind of do your research and to figure out what you need. So then that way we can help you the most. Because otherwise we're just going to guess and be like, here, this is what you want. Or this is the best stuff
Exactly.
we got. We don't want to do that. We don't want to just suggest things. We want to suggest things based off what you need. Because a lot of us are
Exactly.
really here for that purpose of helping people. Like we want to be there to help people. We don't want to just sell you stuff.
Right, of course. And that's the whole purpose, right? So that
Yeah,
you're there to educate and give the information that is needed to, like, let's say a person like me who doesn't smoke or who's never taken, medicinal marijuana or anything like that. If I were to decide, okay, well, I want to start doing this for my back, I'm going to go in there with no knowledge, right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
then, so that's why you are there to kind of help and ask questions and things like that and
Yep.
educate me to be able to, get that information and get what I would need if I were to take
Exactly.
that route. That's awesome.
I hope I actually get to do that one day with you, Elba. I hope that I get to be your consultant one day and you come in and come see me, because there's a plethora of things that I could give you to help you with whatever you needed, honestly.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the key of what we're really trying to get out there, is that you don't have to be scared of it anymore. There's so many different ways of research. There's so many different ways of understanding how it works. There's so
right.
many different things on the computer. There's so much access to cannabis now that you don't have to be intimidated or
Afraid.
scared of it, because there's so many avenues you can just look it up and figure out how to use it, or how it's going to make you feel, or you can look into how it's made, and you can really find out any answer you're looking for.
Right.
If you're willing to be open minded, or you're willing to try these things out. But
Of
like I said,
course.
don't want to force anybody into it. Continue to use your medications, continue to use what you're comfortable with. But we like to say, come join the natural relief side and experience it, try it out, give it that old high school try, and really kind of let it do its thing, and then see how you feel afterwards. Like my thing is, give it, like I tell everybody, give it 2 or 3 weeks. Smoke it, once or twice a day for 2 or 3 weeks, just to relax, or whatever strains you think you're going to need, or whatever we're going to help, we'll tailor it to you specifically. Give it like 2 or 3 weeks, and then stop smoking, and see how you feel. See the difference. Your
Right.
body is going to tell you the difference naturally. So
Right. Right.
that sleep of your life, you're going to feel better. You're going to just, people go on tolerance breaks and they get grumpy for a reason. It's not that it's something that we're
True.
addicted to. It's the fact that it's naturally helping your body heal. So when you have to go on tolerance breaks, so then that way you can feel better again,
Right. Right.
miserable, because you're literally going through, I would say, I wouldn't necessarily say withdrawal, but it feels like a withdrawal symptoms in a sense, because obviously cannabis isn't a drug because it's natural. It's not made, it's not battery acid, it's not anything put together. It's literally grown from the ground. So you can't call it a drug. I wouldn't call it a drug because it's not anything that's manufactured.
Right.
So I was like, I don't consider it drugs or anything like that, because it's, to me, drugs are manufactured. Like anything
Right.
else that you're going to be manufactured. LSD, acid, all these other things, they're manufactured. So
Yeah.
anything that grows from the ground, you're not those things. You're supposed to do them in smaller doses. That's why they were given to you. I was like, it
Right.
would be given to you for the purpose of healing,
Right.
unaltered.
Yeah. And so another question. So
Yeah.
when the person, okay, obviously, I think we spoke about this in the other episode, but they have to go and see a specific doctor and get,
Yep.
their license and things like
Yep.
that. And then, so is a person supposed to go just like any other, I was going to say application, medication once a month and get their medication? How does that
So
work?
no, actually, that's a good question. So essentially, you'd have to find a medical marijuana doctor, because not your family physician isn't going to be a medical marijuana doctor typically. Some of them are, but typically they don't mix practices a lot of the times. So you're either going
Okay.
to have a doctor that is doing just medical marijuana certifications, or you're going to have a family practice doctor. And
Got
typically they don't go hand in hand. But I'm not in everybody's business. I don't know. But in my
it.
experience that I've had the last 3 years, it's either one or the other, and they don't go together because they contradict, like we said. Because the
Right.
doctors at the hospitals and things like that, they're selling the prescriptions. They're getting money from putting those out the door. Whereas the medical marijuana doctor isn't selling anything from that. They're getting money from us coming in and getting our recommendations. We call
Got
them
it.
recommendations, is what they are, because they can't legally tell you what types to buy. So we
Okay.
only say that we recommend this for you to try. So then that way
And what
it
are
can
they called again?
the doctors.
The doctor? Yeah.
So the doctors are called, they're medical marijuana doctors. You could go on
Okay.
DocMJ, or you could just look up medical marijuana certification. If you look up
Okay.
that, it'll bring up all the doctors. There's lots of different types, different kinds. So do your research, go to Groupon. I mean, there's lots of different avenues. If you're worried it's too expensive, there's so many different routes, so many different doctors offering specials. there's so many different ways. You don't have to feel stuck. You don't have to feel like it's not the right timing or anything like that, because there's so many different avenues to help you with this thing. And
Got
then
it.
it's a quick $75 to the state, and then you're done. It's that easy. You get
Okay.
7 months worth of recommendations typically at a
Okay.
time, but it's not always the same for every doctor. Every doctor does stuff different. Some of them do them monthly. Some of them do them 6 months. Some of them most of them do 7 month periods though. But every
Okay.
once in a while,
Now,
doctors do different things.
okay, and that brings up my other question of, since it's, medical marijuana and stuff like that, is if they decide that they want to go to the doctor, is this covered by their
Insurance,
medical plan, their insurance medical plan?
I typically it's not, but I have
Okay.
heard that there are some people that they have an insurance company that does allow it because they're not on other types of medication. I personally am not aware of what specifics you need for that.
Okay.
I would say most insurance companies are going to say no, but it's worth a shot to ask because
Right, right.
you never know. You could have the one progressive company that's willing to do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, it's just like, if you go to the doctor, whatever, you get an explanation of benefits and it tells you what's covered, what's not covered. And so I was thinking, is that the same way? And then, like, when it comes to the medicinal medication, are you paying a certain amount out of pocket? Is it?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
So you pay the doctor a certain fee to go see him.
Okay.
Typically, it's anywhere from $100 to $200 to go see a doctor. That's your visit. That gets you your recommendations. So your
Okay.
recommendations don't get you anywhere. I was gonna say your recommendations don't get you anywhere unless you get approved by the state. But you do have to
Okay.
go see a doctor first to make sure you're allowed or approved for a medical marijuana card, meaning you have one of
Got
the
it.
ailments that allows you to have the card, which it's easier than you think to get them because there's a plethora of options on that list, and
Right.
most of us adults in our 20s or higher have at least three of them on there. So that's why I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
yeah, and not that it's so easy to get it if you want it, but it's the fact that natural healing is working its way into the country. People are wanting more homeopathic. People are wanting more natural. They're wanting relief.
Yes.
Dangerous because, like I said, you can use this as much or as little as you want, and it's not going to do
Right.
anything but relax you. So
Right, right. And so
for me,
when they
that's
go,
my number one bestseller is that I can use it as many times as I want and it doesn't do anything to my body.
right. And then so for a person who goes in to get like strands or gummies or whatever else they offer, they're having to pay that out of pocket as well.
Yes,
How does that work?
but with that being said, we offer a lot of discounts. There's a lot of new patient discounts almost at every dispensary you go to. They offer 2 to 3 new patient discounts. So essentially, as you come in as a new patient, they're going to give you, like, for instance, there's companies that do $50 off of 150 or more. You get 20% off your whole visit. When it's your birthday, you're going to get 25% off for
Oh,
one time during that month. So, like, there's
right,
all sorts of sales and things that happen just like regular stores, but it's only
right.
for people that are part of that community. So
That's
they offer sales and things like that, just like every other company does. So it's not always
right.
going to be price items, but a lot of the times they're full price, which then brings
Okay.
you back to your loyalty report, your loyalty programs. A lot of these dispensaries offer loyalty programs, which allow you to get discounted products, allows you to have discounts. Like a lot of them do SNAP or EBT cards. If you have SNAP or EBT cards, you get a 10% discount on your whole order. Or if you're
Oh,
a
that's
veteran,
good.
you get 20% off your whole order. So there's lots of ways that you just automatically get discounts, but every dollar you spend is points earned. So when you get to a certain amount of points, you get a certain amount of money off. So there's always
That's
ways to
awesome.
earn and get discounts with these companies. So it's never always full price.
Right. And that's good to know because, if somebody is wanting to go and get some, medication, and they're like, wow, we don't have enough money or whatever. But if they become a loyalty member, it's kind of like going to CVS. It's kind of like going to, whatever store that
Yes.
gives you
Oh,
loyalty rewards, right?
30% when I go there. So I already know my order is going to be $20 cheaper. Or I already know this
Right.
is going to be. So it's going in with the mentality of being comfortable and knowing what you're doing. And that's why I
Exactly.
said the more education you teach yourself, the more comfortable you're going to be. Because not everybody is educated at these stores. Not everybody is
Of
there for
course.
the same purpose. Not everybody is
Right.
going to get the same information. So it is important as a consumer, as a patient, to learn it yourself because you need to know what to ask for, what to look for. Because a lot of these places don't offer the same return policies and won't take stuff back. So once you buy it, you got it and you're stuck with it. And if you don't
Oh,
like it, tough shit. So it's one of those things that you have to really kind of think about it, look into it. If you're curious about it, do the research because I really feel like when people just dive in and they go for it, they really end up being happier that they ever did. I've never had somebody come tell me, "Man, I never wish I started smoking marijuana." I never wish I started smoking weed. Anybody I've ever talked to said, "Man, smoking weed has changed my life. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm alive today because of marijuana. This has
wow.
my life specifically." So I can 100% agree with that. Like I've heard so many life changing stories. I've seen people break down in front of me in the store. I've heard
Yeah.
incredible stories from people of they should have been dead and they're not.
Right.
And a lot of it's due to cannabis. That's why I was like, I can't make these things up. The passion for
That
educating
you have.
people is serious because I've seen and witnessed and personally been through what it does for you and how it helps you. And I just want people
Right.
to not be so scared and not so nervous because I was terrified when I first did it. The stigma around it, I was like, my kids are going to get taken from me. But now I
Right.
wear socks and earrings and I don't care about the stigma anymore because it's not important. What's important is your health and being there for
Right.
your family and being
Of
able
course.
to be functioning, to be happy. I mean, if you're a lot of these people have issues with depression. This
Yes.
alone will make you a social butterfly. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you happy. It'll make you giggly. Like if you struggle with anxiety and depression, come check us
Right.
out. This is a natural way of just taking a couple hits of something and all of a sudden you're not sad anymore. And it's a good
Right.
feeling. That's
And
what I was like, it
it's funny.
literally works with anything.
Right. It's funny that you said, about the depression and stuff like that. I remember at the company that I'm working for now, I think I was there maybe 6 or 7 months. And this guy went and he told his wife he was going to work. He worked in the IT department. And he told his wife he was going to work or whatever. And he suffered from depression. And his wife was like, I haven't heard from him in about an hour. And I've been calling him and he doesn't answer and things like that. And he shot his brains out in the parking lot because after he finished working, he
You're
just
just
felt
sad.
like
Yeah.
there was no need to live. And it's so sad because he was on medication.
Yeah. So they're not tailored the same. And the medications are not tailored like marijuana is. It's not tailored
Right.
to everybody individually. It's tailored to help everybody the same. And it doesn't
And
work that
that's
way. Everybody's the same.
right. And that's what I was saying. I was like, wait a minute, this guy was on medication. I was like, and one of the people that was working there, she says he was on medication, but that medication made him feel more depressed.
Yeah.
So when he would try to
Yeah.
wean himself off, it would make it worse. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Uh-huh. I was on a anti-inflammatory for my Crohn's disease that made me so depressed. I had a 1.5-year-old. There's no reason for me to be sad. I'd never had postpartum. I didn't have those issues.
Right,
I have ADHD. I'm happy all of the time. I'm always excited. I'm ready to love everybody. Like I'm ready to get out there and go and talk everybody's ear off. That's not me. I took this medication and I was crying and I don't want to be alive anymore and I don't know what's wrong with me.
wow. Oh my gosh,
And then
that's
I realized it
crazy.
was this medication and I said, I don't want to take this ever again because I was
Yeah.
fine. I returned to normal once
Mm-hmm.
once I was done with the medication. For one, it
Right.
didn't help with what it was supposed to in the first place. All it did was
Okay.
give me acne, made me gain 10 pounds, and made me severely depressed and suicidal. I never want to be in that place again. I have since then
Wow.
had doctors try to give it to me at least 5 times, and I looked at them and said, I'm sorry, that's not something I'll take again. I almost tried to take my own life when I was like, my son was a year and a half, and I won't do it again. I won't
Yeah.
be suicidal, and I won't be forced to take a prescription that doesn't do anything. And they said, oh,
Exactly.
well, if you don't want to do that, you can go to pain management. So what's pain management going to do for me? They're not going to allow
Right.
me to be on cannabis because they want to shove pills down my throat. So that's not somewhere I want to be either. So they said, well, what's your other option? Oh, your other option is lowering your medication. If I lower my medication, I got to take more Tums, which I can't do because we already know I can't take them.
Oh
So they're
gosh.
running me a big circle of staying sick.
Right. Right. Oh my God. Yes.
Hello, the
You're
healthcare
sick, so
industry
you
is
can
not there
keep
to
it.
help you. They're there to make money
Exactly.
off of you.
Of
They
course.
don't
Of
want you to
course.
get better, which is why they won't prescribe cannabis.
Right. And you know what's funny? Because I was looking at the news the other day and they were breaking down numbers of if you were in the hospital for
Yeah,
COVID, right?
yeah,
With this new COVID crap. If you were in the hospital with COVID and you had insurance, it was a certain amount of money. And if you didn't have insurance, it was a certain amount of money. But
yep,
you know what? Even with that being said, it was in the thousands. And I'm not saying it was like 2,000, 3,000. No, it was $234,000 to be
yeah.
admitted into the hospital. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Listen, listen. You think that's crazy? I was in the hospital in February of this year.
Okay.
February, going into March. 56 grand. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 65 grand was my bill
Oh
because they charged
my
my
God.
insurance incorrectly. So they thought I didn't have insurance the week I was there. I was never put on fluids. I was put into a room and given pain management every 4 hours and given Gatorade. I was not allowed food, or I was allowed Gatorade and water, which is it.
Oh my
Gatorade
gosh.
and water. They didn't have me on an IV. They didn't have me on any sort of fluids at all for a week. It
Wow.
cost me 65 grand to pump me full of Dilaudid and Gatorade for a week.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yes.
That is
And so
crazy.
they did absolutely nothing to help me. They told me my damage was in a spot that the pain medication isn't reaching and that there wasn't really anything that they could do for me. And they released me.
Wow.
They kept me for a week without fluids. I lost another 10 pounds in the hospital.
That's
So they're
crazy.
keeping you sick because you can't fix people that are being healed by marijuana.
Right. Right.
You don't.
And once
You
you're
can't make
healed,
money when people aren't sick.
and then once you're healed, it's like, okay, so I don't need this medication. So what's gonna happen? The medical field, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
pharma,
It
big
would shut
pharma
everything.
is
They're
mm-hmm.
terrified. They want
Yeah,
to keep people hooked on drugs, so they're keeping the fear of marijuana alive because they want to keep pharmaceuticals here. That's why
right.
they get people hooked on drugs and then call them drug addicts. It's because they want people to
Wow.
buy them. It's all in how you market it. It's not
Right.
really the purpose of making people feel better. It's the purpose of getting people hooked on it so that people are spending money on it and it's getting circulated. They want people
Wow.
addicted to it.
That's crazy. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
want their money, all for the love of money. Because now you see how what they're doing with the dispensaries. So I mean, that's
Yes.
another subject.
I know. It's crazy. It's just such craziness. Now, okay,
Yeah,
so we spoke about back pain, we spoke about anxiety, we spoke about depression,
migraine, weight gain.
migraines. What other things help?
I mean, it's great for insomnia. I personally have horrible insomnia with the ADHD. I get like 3 to 4 hour intervals, typically, is what I like to call them, because I don't
Okay.
sleep through the night. But
Okay.
with cannabis, I've been sleeping really really well. I use, like I said, I tailor it specifically to what I need, which is euphoric indicas. So I look for stuff specifically like Skywalker or Space Age Cake, because those ones specifically have the linalool and the myrcene mix that I look for because I need that euphoria to go to sleep. I need to
Got it.
shut down my thought process. Whereas sometimes other people have really high body pain and they need help shutting down their body, but their brains can shut down and go to sleep like nobody's business. Those
Right.
people, I would recommend something like Purple Wookie, like I said, is a really good for your body pain, but it doesn't touch your head. I would
Okay.
also recommend 9 Pound Hammer is one of our heaviest hitting ones that we have for body pain specifically. It
I got.
literally made me numb. I couldn't move my limbs and I was freaking out. It actually gave me a panic attack because I couldn't move. And I said, "What is happening?" And my husband's like, "Bro, just go to sleep." I'm like, "I can't."
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, it was a bad experience for me, but for most people that want that like numbing body relief, I bet
Right.
it's amazing. But for me, it scared me because I couldn't move. But I'm sure if that's something that you like, if you have horrible body muscles and aches, that's something you're gonna want. You want that relief. You want to feel numb because you just don't want to feel pain anymore. So
Right.
like, there's so many different strains you can tailor. Like I had one right now. It's called Purple OG that I've been using to go to sleep. I've actually been dabbing it on my rig. It's one of my favorite things to do because it's almost immediate, and I get a headrest right to my toes, and it's and it's like really straight, straight away, and then I'm just automatically relaxed, and all of the things my children did throughout the day, they don't bother me anymore. They don't.
Right. Right.
I'm a-okay. And then I give it about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm like, I'm ready to go lay down now, and then I'm out for 6 or 7 hours, and I wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm
Got
like,
it. And so I know you said something about oils. So they also
yeah.
have oils that you can rub onto your skin as well?
So the True Clear can be considered an oil. It could be considered a topical. You can make it a topical by simply adding some coconut oil or some, vitamin E or something of the sort that'll seep through the skin. Anything that's going to allow it to seep through the skin, you can kind of make your own topical with it. You can make your own sublingual. You basically just mix them together and allow it to saturate or soak in wherever you're looking for.
I
But
got
that's
it.
the one thing we were talking about the True Clear in the last episode. It being so
Right.
versatile, you can use it for anything.
Good. That's
Same
good
idea,
info.
yeah. Same idea. That's why I was like, you have your pill route for the people that are really like, I just really like taking a pill, quick and easy. It typically hits within an hour, hour and a half, but you do need to eat with it because if you don't eat with your edibles, it doesn't digest. It needs a fat to break down, to attach to. So a lot of the
Okay.
time we say the people with the extra love actually end up staying high longer if
Okay.
you catch my drift. So people that
Yes.
are a little heavier set actually can hold and maintain the THC longer than really skinny people. And I
Got it.
actually, I know that for a fact because I actually have to medicate quite often being very skinny. I don't have anything for the THC to hold on to, so mine metabolizes really, really fast.
Right.
THC and everything, it's metabolizing in your body like food. It's kind of the same idea. So you have to think about if you're eating something, it's digesting and it's metabolizing. So you're going to
Got
metabolize
it.
it the same way you would food. So edibles still work the same way as food do. Give it that hour, hour and a half, and then you're golden from there. And then you'll feel it. It'll be typically 3 to 4 hour relief. So make sure you
Yes.
don't do anything crazy if you're going to do edibles because you're going to feel that way for a little while.
Ah, yeah. And then you might have to drink
Yes,
a lot of water to flush it
yes.
out, right?
Or you could just take your CBD. Just take your CBD. If you're ever too medicated, drop in that CBD and you will just kind of feel that psychoactivity calm down.
Got it. Ah, interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's cool. So, any last words, any last information before we close this up today?
Yeah, I was gonna say just like I think I'm gonna make it like my thing at the end of
Oh,
them. Like I like to remind ever just curious, ask questions. We are we love to talk about marijuana and cannabis. That anybody that smokes weed loves to talk about it. So you're not hurting our feelings or you're not making us feel weird or uncomfortable. We're inviting you to ask questions because we want you to be part of this. We want to bring you into our little family. It's like a secret society almost, but we just share love and education. Um, so
right.
and my thing is just ask people or Google it or just take that step if you're really curious because homeopathic healing is making its way in, and the pharmaceutical companies are not happy about it, but they're going to allow it to happen. So if
Right.
you are curious about taking that step, just do it. Like I said, there's Groupons, there's coupons out there, anything under the sun. Whatever is your reason for this stuff, doing it, and I have a way around that.
Awesome. That is so awesome. And guys, if you want more information, you can contact Emily at Emmys, EMMYS dot custom creations on IG, Instagram. And you can ask her any questions that you want there, or you can email me at brokenjourneythepodcast@gmail.com, and I will make sure that Emily gets that information that she needs. I mean, actually,
Yes.
that you need. Not
Yeah.
Emily. Emily has a wealth of information. She has
Yes.
so much information, but I'll definitely send her that information. So I am so, so grateful that you took the time to educate on part 2 of
Yes.
cannabis. And we will keep in touch. And again, when I'm in your area, I'll hit you up and Evie, and we can get together and have lunch.
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure. I appreciate you so much for having me on here. Literally, my only goal in life is to help spread the education on cannabis and to have fun doing it. And this gives me that outlet I was looking for. So you're not just helping me, you're helping me help them and make
Right.
my dreams come true in the meantime. So thank you for having me guest appear on your show and allowing
Thank
all
you.
of your listeners and your viewers to
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thanks again. I hope you have a good weekend.
thank you. You as well, Elba. I look forward to
Okay.
talking with you again soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.